Very lucky to have on the line Mr. Ingve Malmsteen. Thank you for joining me today.
Ah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Right, we'll backtrack very quickly. The beginning of your career, you sent demos to record companies. Shrapnel came on board. You played with Steeler, then Alcatraz, then you went solo. Now, how difficult was the decision to go solo, to go out on your own?
Not very difficult because that's what had done all along before I came to the States. Before I came to the States, that was completely my own, thing. I had sort of like a group around me called Rising Force, but it was me. I was a writer, I was the lead singer, lead guitar player. I never had it was never like that kind of group situation. So to me, it was always more of it was much easier for me to work that way, because I don't want to have to argue about the direction of things. Just I have to do it, but what feels right for me. So no, I mean, I think it was a good thing to be in those bands, but I always felt like that I needed to do my own things. You know,
Okay, tell us about those early solo years with the first few albums and tours and that. What was that like?
You mean in the States?
In the States,
I
yes.
mean, after the Alcatraz, yeah. Well, it was early '80s, mid early '80s, and it was a little different. It was still crazy. I wrote a book about the whole thing. It's called Relentless. If you guys are interested, it's on Amazon and all that stuff. Ingrid J. Mounts in the memoir Relentless, and
Okay.
they explain in detail some of the crazy stuff. But anyway, it was we were, I guess, very very serious musically, but not so serious in the rest of the approach of things. Because it was the '80s and stuff like that. So it's a little bit like what people have heard and maybe then some.
Yeah. Now, your early career and especially your early solo albums really heralded a new style in metal. You certainly carved out your own style. You seemed to kick open a door that a number of other guitarists followed you through. How do you feel to be labelled as the leader of this guitar movement?
Oh, it's great. It's flattering, of course. The thing is that very very early on, when I was just a little kid, I started playing. I got my first time when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And very early on, I felt very kind of. It was a little bit. It felt limiting almost. With the regular pentatonic blues scales. That every guitar player had this sort of like the same pattern they played, but it played a little different. But it was always the same pattern. So I started listening to violinists, like Vivaldi and Paganini and Tchaikovsky. Obviously, people that played their stuff, but the classical violin way of creating music.
Mm.
And I kind of adapt the guitar, and that when you do that, the whole guitar way of playing guitar is turned upside down because it's not the same, as
Mm.
what people are used to hearing from rock and roll guitar. So that's basically where I got my influence from, and I guess then, you know, people got interested in classical music as well. I guess. But I mean, after learning all the Purple stuff when I was a little kid, it was, and I still love that stuff. I do, but for myself, I needed to come out with something that was more harmonically challenging, so to speak.
Yeah, talking about challenging, you play guitars with a scalloped neck. How did that start?
Yeah, that was when I was just a little kid. I was like an apprentice in a luthier shop, and some guy brought in a lute, like 17th century lute, and they had like the wood was all worn out, carved out, kind of thing. I just thought it looked cool. And so I did it on a couple of my necks. I used to always work on my guitar, and I realized when you do that, you actually get at the string, the control of the vibrato. It's very very controlled. It's different because you have to learn how to play a little different from the pressure, and it's not easy to play fast. It's actually hard to play fast. But I loved it, and I've always done it since.
Yeah, okay. What was it like to be honoured by Fender, first with a signature guitar and then with the line of accessories? That must have been a huge honour.
Yes, absolutely. But that's funny how that happened because when I first came on the scene, like in the States, I made kind of a big noise, and I was always playing Fender Strats. But up to that point, Fender would never even give a guitar for free. Hendrix and Beck and Blackmore, they used to buy their guitars.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect anybody. I didn't expect them to get it for free or nothing. So I would just still buy them if I wanted them. And every guitar company under the sun came to me and said, "We'll make anything, we'll do anything." And I said, "No, I'd rather buy a Fender than use anything else."
Yeah.
And then, of course, eventually they came to me and approached me, which was already then that I was blown away with it. So that's amazing. I did the same thing with Marshall too. Marshall, they never gave anything to anybody else either, and so I kind of like just held off, and I just bought my Marshalls, and now of course I have a Marshall model, which is amazing. I love that one, and yeah, I think it's good to be dedicated. It pays off.
Yeah. Now you've released many albums over the years. There's been a steady stream of albums. I'm keen to know how is the recording process for you? Now I want to ask this because you've worked with a lot of people over the years, and sometimes you've done things very independently, like on the last album, doing everything yourself. When you decide to record an album, what is the process?
Well, it's changed somewhat because I'm actually calling you. I'm inside my recording studio now.
Yeah.
And it's in my house. And it's not like a home studio. It's a full-blown studio. And it's in here. And I go in here, and I see what happens. And if I like what I hear, then I use it. If I don't like it, I don't use it. And in the past, I used to have to do like demos, and you do demos and you rehearse it with the band, and you rent the studio and you go in and record it and so forth. It was a very different process because that by the time it was actually recorded, it'd gone through so many stages that the spontaneity was gone.
Yeah.
Now it's here now. It's here now, and that it's a lovely thing. I actually updated some things. I just look at my new mixing console and stuff like this. I'm really excited. I'm in the studio making another album right now. Right now, as we speak, I'm actually working on a new record there.
Okay.
So and it's not like, okay, now I'm gonna go in and do it. No, it's just that when I'm inspired, I go in and I do something. If I'm not inspired, I don't. I do other things.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
and that was another thing which in the past, you had to do with you on the time, the clock was running, you had to, it was terrible. I didn't like it,
Yeah.
So now I just do when I feel like it. And before I would have to do it when it was like, also it was a cycle back then where you did a tour, an album, tour, album. Now I tour and I record and I tour, record, mix and match. It doesn't have a schedule like it used to,
You're doing this whole album yourself, or have we got other people in on it?
Well, it depends how you mean. I write everything.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about I have this guy that sang on my last live album. He's also a keyboard player. I might bring him in for a couple of songs. I'm still working on things, so I haven't made my mind up on nothing yet. But whatever feels right at the time, that's what I'll do. I don't plan it up before it's done. It kind of takes on its own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's still, I would say it's rather early in the process. The album, it's not like towards the end or nothing.
Okay, now you're just about to come to Australia. You'll be here early next year.
Yeah.
Now this is, let's see, your third time at least touring, because I've seen you twice here. As a concert tour, I'm talking about. Now you first came in 1990 on the Eclipse tour. What are your memories of that tour?
Oh, it was great. I thought it was amazing. It was. I really enjoyed it. It was the first time, because I'd been touring for 10 years around the world before then, and so that it was the first time, and I had a great time. I remember it very fondly. And then we came back to the next tour as well, 92. We came back.
Right. Okay. I missed that one. I saw you then in 2006, where you came to Adelaide
Yes.
for the first time. Great night, that one.
Absolutely. That tour I thought was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then I did a clinic tour last year.
Yeah.
And now we'll come back with a band again. So
yeah.
Yes.
Now you did everything on the last album yourself, but you can't do that live. So what's the touring lineup for this tour? Have we settled on that yet?
Yes. The live album that I just put out?
Yeah.
Live video? Yeah, it's that lineup, but a different drummer.
Okay.
Same as that, except as the one that thing, the new Spellbound Live. Yeah.
Okay. Now is this going to be a long tour? or just a?
Well, we start in Japan, then we come to New Zealand, and then we'll go to Australia, and that's it for this leg,
Okay.
in that area,
Do
you know.
you like touring as such, or is it just about playing live?
I love playing live. To me, playing live is what it's all about. That really is, because it's the challenge of always not really knowing what you're gonna do. Because I don't like to rehearse everything. I like to have it so it's free.
Yeah.
and that's the challenge. And you can't be messing up stuff like that. And of course the audience. So it's a double whammy. Like the audience in conjunction with actually challenging yourself. Um, yeah, so the live is amazing. I mean, I really enjoy that. And in fact, I try to get that feeling as much as I can in the studio, where it's like not rehearsed and not totally figured out everything. Just make it a little more dangerous. That's what I like to do. That's why I don't. That's why I don't like to write things out, solos and stuff. Like, I have them always improvised.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Fantastic. What was it like to be involved in the G3 tour?
that was fun. It was great. Those guys are great. I just heard from Steve yesterday. He just sent me a text yesterday.
Here's a question that's a bit out of left field. Have you ever been asked to join or be a touring member of another band?
Well, when I first, even before I came on the scene, when I was
Yeah.
still in Sweden back in 81, 82, and my demos were floating around, and
Yeah.
Mike Warney got hold of them. I actually got phone calls from Kiss and
Really?
from Night Ranger, yeah, and then of course UFO. The Phil Mogg wanted me to be forming UFO with him. Um, and there was rumbling about Deep Purple back in the early 90s.
Right.
But yeah, but I think I would have been. I did a gig with them actually. '09. I went on stage, and that night actually John Lord came up, so that was amazing. I was very pleased with that. But and I think that would have been great. But the thing is, I kind of work best in this in the setting that I'm in now.
Yeah.
That's when I'm at my best. I'm not ruling anything out. I mean, I'm always open for suggestions and guest spots and stuff like that. Always.
Awesome. What can we expect from an Yngwie Malmsteen concert in Australia in February?
Well, the unexpected. No, I will do some of the, what people probably would expect to hear, some of the expected songs.
Yeah.
But the way I do it is always different.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody saw more than one show, in fact, that's why I recorded two shows. My last live offering is one double CD and one DVD, one from Orlando, one from Tampa, Florida, and then one night apart, and they sound nothing the same. They're completely different. The same songs, different ways of playing them. It's gonna be the structure of the song that you might know, but it's not the same.
Expect
So
the
and
unexpected.
also a lot. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Excellent. Yngwie
Thank you.
Malmsteen, been magnificent talking to you today. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me, and we look forward to seeing you on stage in our city in February.
All right. Thank you. See you later.
Thanks, Yngwie. Bye.
Bye bye. See ya.